Hello everyone. Today we are going to see types of agents in artificial intelligence. So there are different types of agents that we can use in artificial intelligence. Uh, they are like learning agents, reflex agent, goal-based agent, model-based agents, utility-based agents. So we'll be seeing all of them one by one. So now before looking in depth for the agents, no, we are going to just take an overview of environment. So, what could be the environment in terms of artificial intelligence? So, in AI, the environment is surrounding of an agent. So, agent can take input from the environment through sensors, and then it can deliver the output to the environment back through the actuator. So, whatever the actions agent is going to take, that could be taken with the help of actuators. So, now there are different types of environments in AI. So the first category is fully observable versus partially observable. So where environment can be fully observable, or maybe it cannot be at a glance fully observable. So that's why it is called as partially observable. And there are other categories as well, like deterministic and stochastic environments, comparative versus collaborative, single agent versus multi-agent environment, where the different types of agents can work together, static and dynamic environment can change, environment cannot change, that is a dynamic kind of environment, and discrete versus continuous. So now these category of environments, these are going to be very useful to understand the concepts of agents. So now we will be jumping towards the types of agents. So first type of agent is the learning agent. So a learning agent in artificial intelligence, it is a type of agent where it can learn from its past experiences, or it has the learning capabilities. So that agent can keep in mind all the experiences that can be collected together in the past, and it will generate the what the set of actions according to those past experiences, and it will keep on the learning. So that is what the learning agent is. And this agent starts to act with the basic knowledge, and then it can able to act and adapt automatically through the learning. So whatever experiences it collected, no, so according to them its learning ability is going to change, its actions are going to be changed. So these are called as learning agent. So here is the diagram of learning agent. So we can see that the first block itself, it is the agent block, and the second one is the environment. So through environment perceives using the sensors, no, it perceives the input, the agent perceives the input, and now these inputs can be taken from the past experiences as well. So here we are going to see the different performance standards. Okay, it can collect the feedback as well, it can have its own learning goals, and accordingly that agent is going to define what kind of performance can be given, or what are the different performance elements, how these are going to be changed from the learning ability of the agent. So that is what can be decided, and once it is decided, no, it is going to take the actions, and that actions will be communicated back to the environment. So this is what the learning agent is. So now these agents has mainly four conceptual components that we have seen in the diagram. So the first one was the learning element. It was responsible actually for making the improvements by learning from the environment. So it is going to take the inputs from the environment through the sensors. So critic, that is the learning element, takes feedback from the critic, which describes how well the agent is doing with respect to fixed performance standard. So if the fixed performance standard was already defined, and we are going to compare with that, like how the agent is performing, is it accordance to the fixed standard, or is it below or above the performance standard? That is what the task of the critic is. Then the performance element, which are responsible for selecting external actions, and lastly problem generator, this is responsible for suggesting actions that will lead to the new and informative experiences. So once all these are getting collected, no, so the learning agent is going to what communicated back with the action, set of actions to the environment. So now the second type of agent that was we have seen in the diagram, the first page, that is the simple reflex agent. So simple reflex agents are actually the simplest agent, as their name suggests. So these agents take decision based on the current percept. They cannot see the past history and ignore the rest of the percept history then. These agents only succeed in the fully observable environment only if the environment is fully observable. Then only these can check the current, what we can say that the scenarios, they cannot see the past history. So these agent does not consider any part of percept history during their decision and action process. So these agents works on condition action rule. If particular condition occur, then what action should be taken, like this these agents are going to work. Okay, so which means that it maps the current state of action. So we always use it in programming language as well, like using the if else. Okay, if marks are greater than 60, then take the action, like that it is the condition action rule. So such as the room cleaner agent or the robot, it works only if the room is dirty, otherwise the agent or the robot is not going to do anything, it will be in the idle state. So this is the case of what simple reflex agent. So now this simple reflex agent that operates on the condition to initiate the action. So whatever the condition, if that is getting triggered, then only the action can be taken. So it follows the predetermined rule. If a floor is dirty, in case of our vacuum cleaner robot, the vacuum should sweep the debris or whatever the what the things are there. But if the floor is clean, the vacuum will bypass the area. So this is given as what the simple reflex agents example. So condition based rules means what? No, condition action rules. So if the temperature is greater than certain threshold limit, so we can use the AC, otherwise we are okay with fan itself. Okay, so such type of examples we can consider for simple reflex agent. So now these reflex agent based works on the condition action rule. So here is the diagram for what the simple reflex agent, where we are going to see the environment. Through environment, agent percepts the inputs, okay, using sensors, and now it can check only the current percepts. Okay, it cannot go back to the past history. So it is going to check what the world is right now, means the current situation only. Then they can decide the action, and that action can be communicated back to the environment with the help of what? Actuators. So this is the diagram of simple reflex agent, where it is having very limited intelligence, because it can just check what the current scenarios, and it can be used only in fully observable environment. It does not have any knowledge of non-perceptual parts of the state. It usually too big to generate and store, and if there occurs any change in the environment current situation, then the collection of rules need to be updated every time whenever there is the changes in the environment. So these are some of the problems that is related with the simple reflex agent. So now the third type of agent, that is model based reflex agent. So these agents can handle partially observable environments as well. As we have seen in the previous simple reflex agent, it can be operated only in the fully observable environment. So now these model based can operate in partially observable environments as well. So the most effective way to handle the partial observability is for the agent to keep track of the part of the world and it can't see now. So means whatever the part is partially observable, which cannot be directly observable, this agent is going to keep track of those activities as well. So that is why it can work in such kind of environment. So unlike simple reflex agent that only react to the current perceptual information, model based agents maintain the internal representation or model of the environment that allows them to anticipate the consequences of their action. So these are, we can say that, a little different than the simple reflex agent in the terms of the environments where they can work. So now simple reflex agent makes decision based solely on what they can currently see or sense from the environment. They cannot go back to the past. This can be limited because they don't remember the past information or anticipate the future changes. So to handle these situations where not all information is immediately available, means what we are talking now about the partially observable environment, these agents, model based agents, are used which can keep track of what they cannot see at the moment. Still they can keep its track. So this is the advantage of model based reflex agent over the simple reflex agent. So we are going to see its diagram. So again, from environment, it perceives the inputs through the sensors, and over here if we can see, this block is showing us the current situation as well, and even it can take the inputs from what the past history as well. Okay, so now these can be combined with the condition action rules, and then these model based reflex agents are going to decide the actions, and those actions are conveyed back to the environment with the help of actuators. So this is how the model based reflex agents are going to work. So now updating the state requires, now in this case, no, it will keep on updating the state because it can sense what the past history as well. So that is the capability of the model based reflex agent. So over here, to update the state, it requires how the world evolves, means what the history. So here we can see how the world evolves. So that was the history part, and that can be independently from the agent. How the agent action takes, so that is taking the action, that is the part also that these model based reflex agent can consider. And when it is operating first time, no, so store it in memory, it is going to store it in memory, and it can use it in the future as the past data then. So this is how these model based reflex agents are going to work. Okay, so now the next type is what, the model based reflex agent. So here we are going to see what could be the sensors and what is going to be the internal model. So these sensors serves as the interface between the agent and the surroundings, gathering information of the environment's current state. So now they can be physical, these sensors. Okay, so physical sensors examples are camera, temperature sensors, or the virtual things that can be the databases or APIs from where we can fetch the data. So these could be the examples of sensors. And in internal model, uh, that is the agent's understanding of the environment. It can encompass the knowledge of dynamics, rules, or the potential outcomes of the actions. And it can be constructed from experiences, sensory inputs, and the domain knowledge for reasoning and decision making. So this is what all about our model based reflex agent, that can be definitely an advantage over the simple reflex agent. So now these model based reflex agents, here we are going to consider the reasoning component that uses from the sensors and internal models. Okay, so here the rule based logical reasoning or the machine learning can be used. So it is going to evaluate the environment, predicts outcomes, and picks the action based on goals. So what is the particular goal for which these agents we have just considering, so that goal can be considered. And over here the actuators actually facilitates what the agent's interaction with the environment, what kind of actions could be taken, and now these effectors translates the decision into environmental changes, closing the agent's perception cycle. Okay, perception and action cycle. So this cycle contains what, taking the input from environment, taking action on it, and then the action can be communicated back to the environment, that is the cycle. So now over here in model based reflex agent as well, we will be considering the condition action rule. So these reflex agents use the condition action rules to make the decisions and act in the real time based on their perception of the environment. So here it represents the simple form of logic that dictates how the agent should respond to specific condition in its environment. So these rules can be defined manually, or it can be learned through the machine learning techniques. So that is depending on the goal that we are going to use this the model based agent. Okay, so depending on that, rules can be made either manually or maybe it can be used through machine learning techniques. So these rules specify actions to be taken to certain conditions perceived by the agent. So these condition action rules are often represented in the form of if then, because that is the condition action. Okay, so if particular condition happens, then what should be exactly done. So that's why it is called as if then statements, where the if part specifies the condition and then part specifies the action that could be taken. So for example, if an obstacle is detected in front of the robot, then it is going to stop and change the direction. Okay, so if obstacle, then what to do, that is the condition action rule. So if the temperature exceeds than the certain threshold, we are going to use the cooling system, otherwise we won't. Okay, so if the demand for the product exceeds the available inventory, uh, then increase the production. That is what the model based reflex agent, that can be how they can be act using what condition action rule. Okay, so this is what the model based reflex agent. Then the next thing is goal based agent. So over here what we are going to see, the expansion of model based reflex agent. So here the current perception through sensors, that is going to what check the history, what is the knowledge base or the past history, and from that it is going to generate what some output, that is in terms of goals, and then it is going to take some actions. So based on the desired situations or the goals, it is going to search and plan the things accordingly. So now over here, if we can see the environment, again it is what getting input through the environment using sensors, and we can see over here what the world is like now, means what, that is the present situation. We have the past scenarios as well. We have decided our goal over here, that can be communicated, that what kind of action and when to take that action, and that action will be communicated to the environment using what, the actuators. So here what the world is like now, that is the current situation, and how the world will evolve, that was the past situation. That can be both things can be considered by the agent, goal based agent. So this goal based agent takes decision based on how far they are currently from their goal. So that is how their performance can be measured. Their every action is intended to reduce its distance from the goal, means they are trying every time to achieve the goal. This allows the agent a way to choose among the multiple possibilities, that is selecting one which reaches a goal state. For example, Alibaba company rested G plus robot for automatic home delivery. So now for this, no, if they are working, so they will be trying to reach towards the goal, whatever the actions they will be taking, right? So now this diagram we have seen actually for the goal based agent. And now for example, we will be checking for goal based agent. A group of friends plans to go on the road trip. So they have learned from the past experience that cars are more comfortable and suitable for longer distances. They search for the shorter route. This search is carried out keeping the destination in mind. So they have their past history. So accordingly they are going to decide what to do and what is their goal. So here their goal is what, the destination where they want to reach, that is going to be their goal, and search and planning is carried out while keeping the end goal in mind. So from the past experiences they are going to take the initial steps, and even they can take the next actions as well. Okay, so these are the goal based agent. The next thing is, the next and the last part is the utility based agents. So now these utility based agents focus on the utility, not on the goal. Okay, like the goal based agents. So here the motivation of the action is utility, what utility they want to consider. So utility function deals with whether we reach to happy or unhappy state, whether we reach to the correct or wrong state, like that. So its example could be to reach to the desired place. We have used the GPS, and that shows several paths, and from that we will be using maybe the shortest path, and traffic jam leads to the state which could be the unhappy. Okay, so that is how the utility based agent works. So over here if you can see again, from the environment percepting inputs through the sensors. So here we are going to consider the present scenario. Okay, and then the past experiences are also over there, how the world evolved state and why the actions were taken in the past, like so. Then depending on that, what kind of utility the agent wants to use, using that utility, past experience and the present scenarios, it is going to what, take the actions, and that actions will be communicated back to the environment using the actuators. Okay, so these utility based agents which are developed having their end users as the building blocks are called as utility based agents. Okay, so when there are multiple possible alternatives, then to decide which one is the base, utility based agents are used. So best example is the GPS camera, or when we want to travel from source to destination, we always use the Google Maps. Okay, so there are multiple options available. Out of those available options, what we are going to consider, so that is the example of utility based agent. So they choose the action based on a performance for the each state. Okay, so now utility based agent is an agent that acts based on not only what the goal is, but the best way to reach the goal. Okay, so we will be checking out of the multiple available paths which particular path we are going to select. So that is going to be the task of the utility agent, and in short, it is the usefulness or the utility of the agent that makes itself distinct from the its counterparts. Okay, so this is what about the utility agent. So now over here we have covered the five types of agents over here, that are the types of artificial agents, and I hope I made your concepts clear with example. So thank you.